Most people think you need a scanner and thousands of listings to do decent numbers on eBay. But as long as you know how to source the right cards, have some sort of system for processing, can get them listed and shipped in time, you can still pull in some decent revenue without a scanner. Hey there, I'm Harley with Dusk and Diamond Collectibles. This Saturday will be 4 weeks in, and so far we've averaged over $1,000 each week in revenue. And right now we have almost 300 listings worth over $3,500. All without a scanner. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through how I source, process, list, sell, and ship cards, all without the use of a scanner. I still use some automation software, so we'll get into that later. But if you're new here, this is my 90-day challenge to see if I can turn my personal collection of Pokemon cards into a profitable TCG side business. So with all that out of the way, let's get into it. All right, so the very first thing you need to do is create a post either on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, possibly in a Pokemon group that you are actually buying collections in bulk. So this is the graphic I made, and I posted it in a Pokemon buy-sell trade group on Facebook. I got quite a few responses, a lot of people wanting to sell pretty high-end collections. I think the cheapest one that I got that I had to turn down was like $3,000 or $4,000. But yeah, ended up making a few deals because of this. Also bought quite a bit of bulk due to this post. One very important thing is to stick to your buy rates. Some people will meet up and then they'll end up asking for more than your buy rates. But I've always just stuck to the graphics that I've made. Usually I approach that conversation with something like, well, based on the post I made, you agreed to meet up at those rates, blah, 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 blah. This is what I can do. And don't be afraid to walk away from the deal if the numbers don't make sense. You can always come up a little bit if you have to, but I try to avoid that at all costs. One collection in particular, I had the buyer meet me and I processed the collection on the spot just to verify all of the conditions and to make sure all the cards were there. He was a very cool guy. We chatted pretty much the whole time. And I have footage of me processing that collection. There wasn't a whole lot of dialogue going on, so I may do a voiceover for parts of it. Let's cut to that right now. So the seller for this collection just dropped everything off. He'll be back to pick up payment, but in the meantime, I'm going to go through it all just to make sure conditions are okay and everything is as we agreed upon. So right now I'm taking everything and conditioning it, and then I will run through and do this is going to be the near mint bucket. So I was actually pretty nervous about this collection buy. It was worth about $2,400, and we settled on a buying price of $1,500 as long as everything checked out. I had gotten burned a few times the last time I did this business, with things either being conditioned incorrectly or there not being the right amount of cards, or even in one case, I bought some fakes. So now moving forward, I'm trying to learn from that. And one thing that I'm making sure that I do is to look over all of the really valuable cards, condition them out, make sure they match the condition the person said, and make sure that all the cards are actually there. So as I'm going through here, I'm looking for whitening, signs of any scratches on the hollows, just typical TCG player centric conditioning, since that's what I'm used to and that's kind of the industry standard. That's what I go by when I'm conditioning cards. Usually if I ever have any questions, I just reference the guide that TCG player has. But yeah, during this, I'm trying to be super thorough, but not take forever. And yeah, just really nervous. I ended up having to front the business the $1,500 because I had a lot of funds tied up in eBay, waiting for things to get delivered.
How's it looking so far?
These are the only ones that I disagree with. Everything else is good.
All right.
Unfortunately, some of these are the more pricey ones. And it's mainly because the hollows on them are pretty scratched up.
Oh, okay.
Like this one, I think I had lightly played, but if you look at it under the light, there's a lot of scratches. So I would probably have to list it as moderately played. And then I think these guys were all near mint, and I'd probably have to list them as lightly played, but we can look at the price differences at the end. Everything else, completely agree on.
Okay.
It's just been those 4 or 5 so far. Yeah, and if you want to push back at all, just let me know.
I guess I didn't look at them like that close.
Yeah, because it's...
Oh, yeah, I see what you're talking about.
I have a...
Right above the leap.
Yeah, I have a really good camera, so when I take pictures of it, those scratches will show up.
Okay.
And then as soon as someone sees it on eBay, they're going to be like, that's not near mint. And I'll be like, well...
I'll say, yeah, because that one you wouldn't be able to see unless you were really looking for it because of the way the hollow foil is.
Yeah. But the rest of them have all been pretty good. I was doing it a lot slower. I'm just going to start... Because I was trying to verify that everything that I'm seeing is lightly played. You have listed in here as lightly played, but if I do that, it's going to take me all night to get through this. Yeah,
I figured with the more expensive ones are the ones that I really double checked.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll say I was going through bulk maybe 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And I was looking at cards and I was like, you know what? I'm going to look at the ones I thought were looked cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to look at these and see if they're, if they're worth anything. And I started looking through. I'm like, man, there's some non-hollow cards that I'm seeing that are worth $8, $10, $15. I'm like, there ain't no way. So I was like, I see people who, get bulk. There's some people that throw away cards that are worth some money to, to the right people.
Yeah, and if you, especially the mid-era stuff, which you have a decent amount of, even just a regular hollow rare and the mid-era stuff has shot up in price a lot recently.
Oh, yeah.
Editing Harley here, I realized that I didn't put a transition from the collection sorting to taking pictures. So this is that transition. The very first thing I did after sorting the collection was set aside some of the most valuable cards that I knew I needed to get listed immediately. Then I got my photographing station set up. I use a little light box that I got off of Amazon for $25, $30. And I use a Canon EOS R10 on a tripod to actually take pictures of the card. I get everything set up really nearby the photo box. So I have all the cards on the left side, take them one by one, put them on the stand, snap a picture of the front, flip it over, snap a picture of the back, then I sleeve it. And if it's really valuable, I go ahead and top load it preemptively. And I just set it to the side to eventually be uploaded and inventoried. At the time of doing this collection, I did not have CardUploader yet. So the vast majority of the singles that I have listed are not inventoried properly. It's only towards the tail end that I actually picked up CardUploader and started using the automated inventory system. So anyways, with photographs, you are looking to center the card in the photograph. You want to focus on the card so that you can see the hollow and any texture on the card. I personally like to go back and use ChatGPT to crop them into 1x1 square. I used to do that manually, but it was very time intensive. Also, one thing I want to make clear in this video, I'm not against using a scanner or against scanners at all. I actually plan to purchase one for my business at some point. It can just be a little bit expensive to get into early on in a business. So I wanted to provide a walkthrough of a workflow that doesn't use a scanner. You don't even need a fancy camera. You can just buy the $25 light box and then have your phone on a cheap tripod and then just snap pictures with your phone. That's literally all it takes. All right, now that all the photos are taken and put on my laptop, it's time to go ahead and crop them. For this, I use ChatGPT. I just take all the images, put it in a zip file, upload it to ChatGPT, and then I'm able to download all of the cropped images. So let's go ahead and jump into that, and I'll show you the prompt I use. I am about to upload a zipped folder of images. I need you to crop them to 4,000 pixels by 4,000 pixels. Do not edit the photo at all or change any of the metadata. Do you understand? So now that the prompt is ready, we're going to take this, upload it. And all that's uploading. I'm going to zip up the rest of them off screen here. So while this step isn't 100% necessary, I do really like it because my other photos are 1x1 squares. So this just keeps a really consistent look and feel to every listing on my store. Also, I'm usually doing this while multitasking, so it's not like I'm wasting a ton of time just cropping photos. Now that it's uploaded, we go ahead and send the prompt and start uploading the next one. Now that that's cropped, we can go ahead and download it. And one thing that I found really helpful with this process is renaming the zip folder, which images start and end in that zip folder. So for instance, picture 0584 is the very first picture, and picture 0615 is the last picture. Now that the second one is uploaded, we just send that and start uploading the third. Now that we have all the pictures taken, cropped, and put in a folder, it's time to use CardUploader. My workflow has changed a little bit since originally trying to record this video. I used to use the free version of SortSwift to export a CSV and then just manually make listings. But since then, I've gotten CardUploader, the paid version, for $10 a month. It is incredible. So much utility for only $10 a month is crazy. So shout out to Pokemon Steven and CardUploader. I have an affiliate link in the description down below if you want to check it out yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and walk you through how I do listings using CardUploader. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is come here to the sidebar, click Ungraded Cards. It is going to be Japanese Pokemon, eBay fixed price, advanced matching options. We don't need that. We don't need that. They're all going to be near mint. This is going to be in row A, box 1, slot 1, starting section B. I can walk you through my inventory at the end of this video. It'll be Pokemon singles. Actually, let me add a category very quickly. All right, let's see if that, we might have to go back to configuration, eBay, sync from eBay, ungraded cards, save settings, ungraded cards, near mint. We'll put them in Japanese Pokemon singles. No secondary category. Probably put them in Pokemon singles, actually. Make sure this says Japanese. All right, so now that it's configured for the type of card we're listing, what platform we're listing it to, they're all near mint. I have the proper inventory SKU going, and then have my store categories selected. Time to hit next. Now we're going to upload the photos. We have 222 photos going in for a total of 111 cards, which would have taken me days to list, literally days, because I don't have more than 3, maybe sometimes 4 hours to put into this business a day. But now we can do it in just a few minutes. So everything's uploaded. It has the fronts and backs of everything. And let's process 111 Japanese Pokemon cards. it'll walk through this uploading images thing, and then it'll identify them and give me matches. I may have to go through and tweak some of the matches. I know that identifying Pokeball patterns is traditionally difficult for like Sort Swift, so I don't know if that's also going to be the case for CardUploader. So we'll see. All right, so now it's processing the images and matching them. So this is the final step of the upload process before we get to the next screen. Usually the first thing I do is go through and make sure that it has the correct matches. This one is not correct. It is Cubone Pokeball pattern. Replace card. I don't think this is Master Ball. Nope, it's Pokeball. So replace Pokeball, replace Pokeball pattern, yes. Pokeball pattern, yes. I don't believe this is a Master Ball. It's a Pokeball, so replace. And even though I'm having to replace quite a few cards, it's still way faster than doing any of this manually. So I'll take it. So we're just going to go through this, correct them all, and then I'll show you the next steps. All right, I've went through and I've confirmed that all of the cards are now correct. Took me a few minutes, but like I said, still way faster than doing it manually. Lots of empty prices and lots of too long of titles. So let's go through and fix the titles now. I think the word pattern and the word card are probably the least useful in terms of getting clicks. And then anytime we still run out of room, just do JP for Japanese. All right, now that all of the titles have been updated, then I do pricing. So I do bulk edit, prices. I fill from TCG player. I increase it by 15%. So 1.15 is 15%. And I only do it above $2 cards. Apply to all cards. Then I do pricing again. This time, round up current prices to $49.99. And then I just peek through and see what pricing is, because I don't know how to do a price floor just yet, especially not a dynamic price floor. Edit best offers. First we want best offers on, apply to all cards. Apparently there's a find and replace, which would have been useful for editing all the titles at once. Live and you learn. And then, so let's see if we can find a floor price thing. No, I don't see how to do it. So we'll just go through $1.49 on anything that is less than $1, and then $1.99 for anything that's more than $1. There may be an automated way to do this, but I haven't figured it out yet. Just had to double check my variation listings here. So this should work. To find upload you've already been working on, go to previous batches. Apparently we changed something. Previous batches. Hit view. And then list and export. Add to inventory. eBay automatic. Apply. And now I should get variation listings on my eBay store. So it's syncing all of them right now. So we should have just got 111 cards added to our eBay store. So let's check that. And it looks like it worked, because I had a couple of these Pokemon Mewtwo's and it's saying available quantity 2. And in the settings, I have it set up to where once the first one sells, it'll replace that with the second card, the second of the same card's picture, so that it's always showing the exact card that's being purchased. Next thing we're going to jump into is how I actually physically inventory these now that they're in the live inventory in CardUploader. All right, now that we have everything actually listed on eBay, it's time to put our cards in our inventory. So we have all the cards here in the actual order in which we took their pictures. So this is the first card we took a picture of, and this is the last card we took a picture of. And that's important because it'll actually keep our chaos sorting inventory accurate. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do with these cards is put them in a graded card sleeve. There's about 111 of them, so it'll be a tight fit. Actually, can I even get them in here? I cannot. And these are only our second batch of cards that we've done this way, so we're still fine-tuning the inventory system, but right now how we have it set up is this shelf down here is shelf A, this middle shelf is shelf B, this top shelf is shelf C, and then we'll number the boxes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then within each of those 6 boxes, there'll be rows 1, 2, 3, and 4. And within those rows, we're gonna go back to letters and have batch A, B, C, D, etc. And this batch of 111 cards is actually too big for a graded card sleeve. I just tried. So we're just gonna use a divider for this one. Luckily I have a bunch of 151 dividers, so we're just gonna slip that in right now. All right, so as you can see here, this is our first batch in that graded card bag. And then we're just gonna move the foam back, slip these loose cards in, and then throw a divider behind them for the next batch. So now I know that this bag here is batch A, and that all of these loose cards here that are in sleeves, I guess, are batch B. So for the inventory system, this is labeled shelf A, box 1, row 1, batch B. Sounds a little bit more complicated than it actually is. So now that we've inventoried the cards, it's time to actually go through and pack some orders. I have a bunch of orders from the last few days. Some of them are actually from this collection. So let's go ahead and jump into that right now. All right, so the first step of getting cards shipped is actually picking the cards. So we are going to hook up to the printer real quick, print out all the packing slips, and then use that to go find the cards. Moving forward, I believe that CardUploader might have a pick list system. So if all of your inventory is on CardUploader, it can generate a pick list for you, which is a lot faster. But not all of my inventory is through CardUploader right now. So let's just go ahead and print those packing slips. The first thing I'm going to show you is how I pack single card orders. So this person just ordered one Professor's Research SATA. So what I do is I take the card, I put it in a top loader, tap it down, then I grab a team bag. Make sure the team bag is really tight. And while the top loader is optional because you could use card savers or shipping protectors like shipping shields or whatever. In my opinion, the team bag is not, because that helps prevent water from getting to the card. Then I take the packing slip, I fold it in thirds. Then I grab a sticker label, grab the card, put it in the packing slip, tape it to the edge of the packing slip. And the reason for that is to keep the card on one side of the envelope. I use self-sealing number 10 envelopes. So as I was saying, the tape there keeps the card on one side of the envelope so that the envelope can still bend as it's going through the machines. If you place it in the center or allow it to move around at all, it could get destroyed in their sorting machines at USPS. And then I'll peel this off, fold it over, and then I take my shipping label. I use a thermal printer to print out my labels, and then I put it right over top of the flap there to prevent tampering. Now that I have this massive stack of eBay standard envelope orders ready to go, I'm going to show you how I pack and ship tracked singles for orders more than $20. First, we obviously gather the card and the packing slip. For this packing slip, I actually fold it in half. Then, much like the eBay standard envelope order, I top load the card, knock it down there, still team bag it, make sure it's nice and tight. Then grab yourself a couple pieces of rigid cardboard or something similar. I use Ding Defenders only because I needed something quick off of Amazon. So then I take this, I tape the card to one of them, put the other one over top of it, and I tape all four sides here. I make sure the tape is really tight so that the actual pieces of cardboard don't slip too much. And I accidentally bought oversized protectors, so they have to go in a 6x10 bubble mailer. So I just slip them in there, slip the packing slip in there, seal it up. I seal it tight all the way down to the card, so it folds the paper over a little bit, but that's fine. Once it's all packed up, you need to weigh it so that you know how much to put for your shipping. And then once I get the shipping label printed out, I just slap it right on top over the label to help prevent tampering. And finally, I'm gonna show you how to ship slabs like this. This actually sold the other day, which is kind of crazy. So let's get into how I package this up. First, we grab a graded card sleeve. They're a little bit bigger than the regular team bags. Seal that right over top there. Then I grab a 4x8 bubble mailer, slip it in, seal it up. Then I grab 2 pieces of cardboard, tape the bubble mailer to one of the pieces of cardboard, then tape the cardboard on all 4 sides. And then I take the 6x10 bubble mailer, slip that in there, seal that up, and then we're going to take it one step further just because this is such an expensive slab. If it's a cheaper slab, you can probably stop there. Now we're going to take a 6x6 by I think 3 Indestructo mailer from Uline. Just had a bunch of these laying around, so we're gonna put this in here. So first we got to fold it up. Perfect. So now that that's folded up, we're gonna take this, slip it into the box here, and we're gonna get some bubble wrap to use as dunnage. These are 12x12 sheets, so I'm probably just gonna use 2 of them, struggling to find the tear line. So I'm just gonna use 2 12x12 sheets, fold it up, stick it right on top, then we'll do the packing slip, and we just box it up. And then for added security, I just put tape along the front edge here. So I cut it off, make little slits where it'll hit the corners, tape down the top, and then pull this real tight and wrap it around the edges. Then I weigh it and slap the shipping label right on top. And one important thing is to always buy shipping protection for orders this expensive. If you can't afford to take the loss, then you need the shipping protection, even if it's a little expensive. It's better than being out the hundreds of dollars for a very expensive single. Those are the exact steps I went through for everything from sourcing to selling this collection. Hopefully you guys find it useful. Sorry for getting this video out a little bit late today, but I just wanted to make sure that the video provided as much value as it could and be as accurate as possible. In the future, I'll be releasing a guide on CardUploader as soon as I get to know it a little bit better. I'm in the Discord constantly bugging Pokemon Steven, asking questions, trying to figure out some of the more advanced things. But stay tuned for the next video where we're going to be reviewing our first 30 days in business. I'll go over all of the numbers, all of the sales, the P&L statement, any ad revenue or affiliate revenue, and where we're sitting at in terms of inventory value. I'll also share any mistakes or wins I made, but once that video is posted, you can find it here. And if you'd like to follow my 90-day challenge from the beginning, that playlist will be over here. Thank you so much for your love and support. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you guys next time.